baby. Production value.
Episode 3.
Season 1, episode 2. This is the music episode. My producers told me to be really excited and high energy in the beginning because we just put on our new intro music, which was really hype. And they told me to come in with energy just like you listen to this music.
Notice how everything I'm saying is like way off edited.
Oh, who's the 2.5?
It's quiet, it's scary. You're a guy behind the scenes with stories and everything. But this is Monsignor Farrell's second episode.
We have to acknowledge that Robert McFeely is the one who ruined this editing.
Everything. Of course. The worst.
This is a music episode. We have our first intro and outro that we made, and we have special guests. Little Ross, aka Rossi.
Little Ross?
And we're going to have Squad 7 with us.
Little Ross, Squad 7.
Word boys.
Who's joining us. And you can find their music on SoundCloud and iTunes and Apple Music. I'll let them tell you about that. Just first of all, thanks to Mr. Rossi. Originally,
But his beard is
Significantly inferior to the current one. No, that's the champion sweater, right?
Yeah.
That's why our second episode hasn't come out as quickly as we liked because
That's so ironic.
Come on, McFeely.
This was like a year ago.
Yeah, this was almost a year ago.
So that's why we should, again, all the Farrell students, we want to introduce the original music, the original pieces, plus this is your show, this is your podcast, so everything you can do is focus on that trophy. So,
As you look at my lips, you have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, it's totally out of sync.
It's not even slightly feeling.
and show off the music. And
Whoa! I feel like you're like looking at me.
So maybe don't teach it. We have it at school. Every student takes it. We're also, I think, the only school that has a marching band, and we do very well in that every year. So congratulations to that. To everybody in the marching band, for all the work Mr. Monty does, and all the people who help with that. But now,
Who is this guy?
we move on to our guest.
Oh, it's
Oh my god.
I didn't know who that was.
It's the first time I've ever seen myself in a mirror.
And your experience at the school so far.
So I'm a sophomore here, and
Now he's a junior.
He's still a sophomore.
I try my best to kind of balance myself with music and grades at the same time. That's the goal.
Wow. Damn, that's foul.
I try to keep balance between kind of music and grades. Sometimes it doesn't work out the best, but
Tell me how much time you spend actually working on music. Like, it's like, I don't know.
So this is Lil Ross, and this is Squad 7. He's not a Farrell student.
Well, we actually met back because we had.
That's gonna be the uniform next year, though.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to have the uniform next year.
So we kind of
Ethan,
reunited
I would love
at
to
my
see you wearing that exact
Every day,
Yeah, I think I transfer.
Ethan's like,
Come on, Eve. We need you.
His sister was sitting between us. And I guess she wanted to start a conversation. So my little brother does music. And then we look at each other like, immediately. And we just started talking music. And I can talk music for hours. So
It's a great episode. I think our dancing is at the end. Oh yeah. That's awesome.
you win America's Got Talent. That's a good episode.
10 out of 10, boys.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
This is me being super excited. Wow! Season 1, episode 2. This is the music episode. My producers told me to be really excited and high energy in the beginning because we just put on our new intro music, which was really hype. and they told me come in with energy, just like you're listening to this music, because we can't actually hear it in the studio, but in editing it's gonna sound awesome.
Yeah, and the 2.5 literally has like a katana behind the camera here. So I mean, yeah, you should probably be a little enthusiastic.
So in the studio right now, it's quiet, it's scary. There are guys behind the scenes with swords and everything, but this is Monsignor Farrell's second episode. It's a music episode. We have our first intro and outro that we've had made, and we have special guests, Little Ross, aka Ross Napoli, and we're gonna have Squad 7 with us, Rob Gillies and his friend who's joining us. And you can find their music on SoundCloud and iTunes, the Apple Music, but I'll let them tell you about that. Just first of all, thanks to Mr. Monteleone. Originally, he recommended, we were looking for an intro, outro, and he recommended Elgar, the Enigma sequences, the Bulldog, which we were going to use, but then we decided through copyright purposes that we were going to be sued
we
badly.
were literally going to get shut down. It was copyright music that he suggested.
Yeah, that's why our second episode hasn't come out as quickly as we liked, because we were fighting
because you guys
lawsuits.
kept forgetting the cameras.
Right.
Literally
The copyrighted music.
Yeah, it's because of copyrighted. That's what shut us down. After our first episode, we get shut down because of copyright.
So that's why we do, again, all the Farrell students, we wanted to just introduce the original music, have original pieces, plus this is your show, this is your podcast, so everything you can do is what we want to focus on and showcase. So Mr. Monteleone, thank you for your guidance, for all that you do here at the music. Before we get to our students who rap and who show off their music in kind of a non-traditional way, something we don't teach at the school, the music we have at the school, every student takes it. We're also, I think, the only school on the island that has a marching band, and we do very well in that every year. So congratulations to that, to everybody in the marching band, and for all the work Mr. Monty does and all the people who help with that. But for now, we move on to our guests, so I want to introduce them. So Ross, tell us a little bit about yourself, your grade level, and your experience at the school so far.
So I'm a sophomore here, and I don't really have the best grades here, but I try my best to kind of balance myself with music and grades at the same time.
Shout out to Miss Lil.
Yeah, Miss
For us not having good grades.
Yeah, that's my chem teacher. But anyway, I try to keep a balance between kind of music and grades. Sometimes it doesn't work out the best, but...
Well, tell me how much time you spend actually working on music. Like this, I don't know, you've never told me this before, so tell us, and how much of a passion is this for you? Is this more than a hobby? Is this something that you...
Well, last year, my freshman year in October, I released my first song on SoundCloud, and I only advertised it on my Snapchat. Like, I didn't even tell anybody about it, like, in person or anything, and it actually ended up getting 15,000 views in, like, a week.
Wow.
And, yeah, I started off as,
Are you lying, or are you...
No, I'm not lying. I'm not lying at all.
Yeah, a couple zeros in there.
Yeah.
Right. 15,000. It's all, yeah.
11 monthly listeners.
So it started off kind of as a joke, like something with my friends, but once you get that many views on a song, it doesn't really become like a joke anymore.
Right.
So that's when producers started sending me beats and stuff, and it really just took off from there. And eventually all my stuff got on like all the platforms like Apple Music and Spotify and stuff like that.
Okay, so you just mentioned producers sending you beats and stuff, which I didn't know about at all. So, because I remember I taught you last year in religion, but you did well, and your grades were fine in that. Actually, you're a good student.
That was last year.
Last year? That was last year.
Yeah.
Sophomore year is a little bit more difficult. But I remember the kids, the other students were telling me, oh, Ross sings, like he raps, like, and his name is Lil Ross. And I thought it was like a joke too, right? But I guess it did start that way.
And that was back in like November, like after I dropped my first song. And that's when I performed in your class. I have the live concert. I still have the video.
I remember hearing that from math class.
That was the first song? That was the
That was my
song
first song.
that got 15,000?
I was in algebra and I heard that. Like someone was playing the songs. That was a great moment.
Wow. So, religion class and rap music,
Great mix, great
and now fame.
of course.
So what kind of stuff you do? Like classical, religious stuff, of course.
Yeah, I try to keep it kind of like God, like kind of keep it related to God in a sense, but yeah.
Now I want to I want to talk about this because obviously here at Farrell we talk about the Vir Fidelis, right? The faithful man. And one of the sayings we have is you're a Farrell man 24/7, 365. So no matter what, everybody has different hobbies. Our stat guy Jamie, he hunts. You know, we have guys who are artists. We have guys who are sports guys. You're a musician in kind of a non-traditional musical way, especially non-traditional for Catholic, right? I guess the conservative Orthodox Jewish community with Modest Yahoo beat us to that. But for Catholic rappers, not that many, at least not faithful, right?
Yeah.
So how does that influence your decision making, and is it very reflective in your music, would you say? Or are you trying to find the balance of that? I don't know.
Well, since I go to school here, I try not to make my music very graphic because I know that it'll definitely come with consequences.
Yes.
So I keep
and not just attention here, but like later down the road, college, you know, family and friends.
Yeah, I know a lot about that. How like eventually when you get to college, like they go through all your stuff and they see like if getting a job or something. So I try to keep it like pretty clean. Like besides a few curse words here and there, like I never say anything like about harming people or anything like these other people do because I know that first of all that's not what my life is about. I don't do that in general, and I just want to keep it safe for myself and make sure that I don't get in trouble for that stuff.
Except for that one time with the blue-haired kid.
That's a story for a different time.
Yeah, that's not an internet story for us. But I appreciate that because honestly, this is the first time I'm hearing it. But I was thinking about it when I said, all right, let me talk to Ross about the music that he does, and to see your influence of what the school has kind of trained you, the man you're trying to be. Like you said, that's not who you are. So you're saying that you try to reflect that in how you act outside of school too, which I think is ultimately what the Monsignor Farrell is all about, right? It's training you whatever you end up doing in life, whether it's fun stuff or work stuff or whatever, you carry in your faith into everything you do. That's the person you are. So I'm glad to hear that. That's great for me. That to me is the greatest success. You say maybe your grades aren't as successful as you want, but maybe that's a good lesson for every student. Is you're not going to always have the best grades or maybe be the best academically in your class, but there's real success is who you are, right?
Yeah.
So and let that shine in what you do. So I think that's great. So I know, Nick, you kind of have a musical career as well.
I do. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your own musical career and maybe the possibilities of a mashup with Lil Ross and
I'm
Slick Nick,
I'm
Del Bianco.
Lil Fidelis, so I haven't got my first face tattoo yet. I think the teardrop by the eye
Right.
is a good start.
Which I think represents murdering someone.
Well, my lyrics don't have any of that
Okay.
in there, okay? So
It's like me, you gotta keep it clean.
you gotta keep it
Right,
clean.
keep it clean.
Alright, like, so yeah, when you're doing that, you know, you get out on the street and it's like you make one mistake and it's over. You know what I'm saying? So like,
I don't actually.
so that's why I'm getting the teardrop tattoo, to kind of just show that and everything. Anyway, of course, Lil Ross over here.
Well, we do have a teardrop reference. We have Jamie, our fact guy, has something. I don't know if it's about teardrop or what is it? What do we have?
Let's see what's going on.
The teardrop tattoo can signify that the wearer has spent time in prison. It could also acknowledge the loss of a family or fellow gang member.
That's all it is.
Fellow gang member.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had time in prison. It's one of the works of mercy to visit people in prison. But,
That's what that was.
That's what you're gonna think. You visit people in prison, so the tear tattoo.
The tear is, I weep for my
Fellow gang members.
Yeah.
Our fallen gang members.
John's gonna come back tomorrow though. He'll be back.
Now, speaking of fellow rap coming from Staten Island, we know Shaolin, Wu-Tang Clan. Have they had any influence, or any other rappers had influence on you?
It's funny that you said the Wu-Tang Clan because I actually have my first official studio session this week. My uncle's friend owns a studio at Phoenix Studio on Highland.
Okay.
And he actually invited me to go in there. He said one day this week, so it's probably going to be tomorrow or Friday. And the Wu-Tang Clan actually records at one of the studios that are in that building.
Really? Wow. So they're actually not. Sorry, Wu-Tang Clan. Are they still recording?
They go there every Tuesday.
Oh.
Oh, funny.
All right. I mean, I follow them all the time. I love their new stuff. I haven't heard yet. I haven't heard it yet.
We're not
actually
sponsored,
heard it, though. You
so-
listen to it.
No, I really don't. Just my mom's friend told me that they record there.
I think I'm gonna get a Wu-Tang Clan like tattoo also on my face probably.
I grew up with Wu-Tang Clan.
You did?
So, I didn't listen to them, to be honest with you, but a lot of my friends did. And I didn't know initially they were from Staten Island, so my brothers were excited, like, oh, you're going to Staten Island? Like, have you seen the Wu-Tang Clan? I don't know if they still live here. I guess they do.
I don't know if they do. I just know that they record there.
Then you thank them by roasting them on your podcast.
Yes.
You don't care about them anymore.
I'm sorry, Ghostface Killer, we want you on the show. It was my mistake. We love your new stuff.
Yeah.
So feel free to come on Pomcast anytime, okay?
Oh.
I was thinking about this. My friend, my best friend growing up in high school was a musician, not a rapper, but he plays guitar, he sings, sometimes also play the harmonica, and he pretty much pursued music through college too, and he created a band there that he still plays with to this day. Great guys, I've seen a lot of his shows, a lot of his music. He makes money off of it, but not enough for full-time living. But a decent amount, like it's a part-time job. Is this something you see yourself pursuing, or you just see where it goes? Like you weren't expecting the 15,000 views, so.
Well, like you said with your friend, like growing up with like a friend that does it. My grandpa and my dad both play guitar. My dad used to have a band. He was on iTunes and stuff. So that kind of influenced me to do it a little bit, but obviously not in the same style that he did. But I mean, I do get paid here and there because whenever your music is on like a platform like that, you get paid based on how many views you get on each platform. And whoever you're signed with to put your, like whoever distributes it there, they take a cut of it and you get the other cut of it. It's usually 75 to 25, and they take the 25% because you're kind of with them.
75%.
Yeah, I would not be with them. That's
Yeah. So I'm not going to ask you how much you've made to date, but I personally find it interesting that some people probably hearing, oh, this is a rap episode, these kind of kids from Staten Island that you wouldn't expect to necessarily be rapping.
Yeah.
But it's taught you a lot of business sense. It's getting you ready for different things in the business world, whether you pursue this or not, which I think is really interesting. And especially on what we're doing, why we created the podcast, and I believe we're the first school to do it too, is because this is the reality, right? Is things are on the internet, things are online. So do you feel like your music career has helped you in whatever you're gonna end up doing later in life?
Yeah, it definitely teaches me a lot too. Like if I'm working with somebody else and they send me their lyrics and their beats, some beats are more sad than others, and it kind of it motivates me to write kind of deeper meanings to songs rather than just like something that like everybody could just like bob their head to.
And do you feel like your faith, a lot of movies, like I know, let's say Benicio del Toro is probably the most famous like Catholic director, and his movies, while he says he's not really practicing Catholic, are very Catholic oriented. So you can tell the themes are super Catholic.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you can draw on that in your own like music, that your faith is kind of gives you an insight into the deeper meaning of things?
Yeah, one thing that definitely I can relate to like being deep Catholic in like lyrics is if it's kind of like a sadder beat, like definitely love is definitely one, like showing like how much you care about other people and things in your life and not taking things for granted. That's definitely one that I've talked about before on multiple songs. So
well, it's great, and again, that's what it's all about. The Vera Fidelis giving his heart for other people, and just singing about how, I'm assuming a rap too, like you have to sing in any song, you sing about when that doesn't work too, like the darker side of just reality, sin, you know. So I think that's part of music's job, is to express sometimes the inexpressible.
yeah, definitely.
Well, look, our time here has been actually surprisingly informative. I honestly didn't know all this about you coming in before. We had looked up your music and your career a little bit, but I didn't know the extent of it. So I'm impressed. I would say, Slick Nick Del Bianco, his career is budding.
So it's starting out. Yeah. What advice could you give to me?
Yeah, or to other young guys, maybe not in Farrell,
Specifically me. No, specifically me.
Look him straight in the eye and give him advice. Yeah,
Let's go.
Only him.
Let's go, lay it on me.
Don't be stupid and definitely don't get face tats.
Thank you.
Not the
That's the
teardrop.
advice.
Not the teardrop?
Definitely not.
Alright, so I'll get like Slick Nick.
Unless you definitely don't want to get a job. If you don't want to get a job, then you can do it.
Yes.
No, there's no problem there.
Alright, then maybe you could do it.
The business world.
That's
they
a sound
appreciate
principle.
a tasteful tattoo of the business world.
They do, particularly on the forehead, is tasteful.
Yeah, like, yeah, there we go.
But something you won't regret, you know, like a cool phrase, but you won't regret it.
Yeah,
You know?
I'll make sure to spell it wrong too.
No
regrets. No regrets. Yeah.
Lil Ross, thank you. We're gonna have maybe a special clip edited on, perhaps a little music video featuring a small clip of your beats.
Yeah, we'll do a music video too.
Yeah, but thanks for your time and thanks for your good work. Good luck in school and in your career, and let's see where it takes. Thanks for your
For
advice.
having me.
Yeah, all right.
Amazing.
Appreciate it.
I see, man.
Slick Nick, all right. So now we're going to invite our next guest. We got Squad 7 coming up. So so we're gonna invite them in at this time, and we thank Lil Ross and all you other artists who are thinking about singing. Follow his advice. Do not get a face tattoo.
Don't do it.
I mean, you know, we could debate that, but yeah, whatever. We can just end with that, I guess.
Good. Let's see if he's here, but Ross, that's awesome, man. I really did not realize like all that. That's great. Who is also known as Coyote, the artist.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Sorry, I mixed that up. And everybody else knows Rob Gillies, also known as
Chef Boy Cypher.
Chef Boy Cypher. Together they make Squad 7, which yes is a Naruto reference. Shout out to everybody who knows Naruto. So I was amazed. We were just talking to Ross, and he said his first song got him 15,000 views, which he wasn't expecting. I remember we actually filmed the song in my class, and I thought it was just like a goof. So what's your guys' experience? Like, where are you at in your kind of exposure? Are you just super new and like budding, or like are you working with producers yet, or what's your?
Well, most of the production's been done by him. He's actually like a genius, honestly. Like he's really, really, really good at it. And I lived in LA for a hot second, and I got to work with some really talented producers, and I just see so much potential in him. And the first time I heard his stuff, it was. I don't even know how to put it into words.
Well, where did you hear him?
Well, we actually met back up because we had known each other forever. Like, he's my little cousin. So
your cousins?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
So we kind of reunited at my other little cousin's birthday, where we were kind of both sitting at a table, not talking.
A little antisocial, just like sitting there.
And his sister was sitting between us, and I guess she wanted to start a conversation between us. And she was like, "So my little brother does music," and then we look at each other like, "What?" Yeah, it was just kind of immediate link, and we just started talking music, and I could talk music for hours, so it's just linked up from there. But
so obviously you guys you're rapping now, but did it start with that, or are you interested in other music as well? Like what, classical or whatever? I don't know. How did you get into this?
Well, I've always kind of been really into hip hop and poetry. Like I love reading Shakespeare, to be honest with you. Like honestly, like he was a genius. He was just beyond his time. It's amazing the stuff that he's able to do. I love that. I was just telling him the whole reason I love making songs is because they're a form of story. I love telling stories, and I love being able to pass experiences on. But the first time I got into like in front of a camera and started like really spitting and like rapping, I got around I think like 800 something views, which was completely unexpected because I just posted it just for fun.
Right.
And
it's kind of like what happened with Ross too, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's like people really liked it. So that was when I started thinking like, oh, maybe I could, see how it goes, and people really enjoy it. So.
And nowadays, I just checked Apple Music, the stats the other day. We're at 2,600 something views on Apple Music. It's not a lot, but like we have.
It's quite a bit to me.
It's something to work on. So I'm grateful. Someone bought the album. Someone bought a song. Doesn't tell you who, but I'm happy about that. It was like the first time I was like, let's go. Let's do that. And then we have it going around on the radio too. Surprisingly. He said to some DJ, right?
Yeah, DJ Urza. He's also go by DJ So Wavy on Instagram. I sent him it. He loved it. I don't know if he's put it into his mixes yet, but really cool guy, really down to earth guy. Messaged me back like that. Really cool dude.
That's great, and it seems like you, obviously you're out of high school now. Rob's still in high school, and you went to LA for a little bit, which,
Right.
other than, I don't know, there could be a debate, New York or LA, who has like more connections or whatever, but it sounds like you know a lot of people who are kind of in the business already.
I've got to meet my fair share. Whether it was young artists or older artists, and everyone has something to teach you, and that's something that I think meeting with other artists I've learned is that there's always something to learn, and you could learn from everybody.
Yeah, and that's something we're always trying to teach, our kids. Obviously, learning doesn't stop when you get out of high school.
Oh yeah, no, it does not at all. Yeah.
So I think one of the things you mentioned too is a buddy of mine always been a musical guy too, but now he has sort of two careers. He does part-time, music with his band, where they make a decent amount of money, but also he works his other job. So you're still in school, you're out of school. So has that been your experience too? Like while you're trying to get on your feet as a musician, sort of reality hits and
You gotta pay the bills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I'm a mechanic, so I work on cars.
He's always working.
Oh yeah. It's just it's a hustle. That's what it is. I think that's why you see so many hip hop artists. They were always hustlers, and that's why they made it big. It's because they put the work in. But that's like anything. If you want to be successful in any field, you have to put the work in. You got to be dedicated. You got to just keep moving forward little by little.
Consistency, you gotta get it done.
So what sort of regime or routine have you gotten into as far as doing the work? Because like you said, with sports you have to practice, with education you have to study. So what happens with music? I don't know. I can't sing anything. I can't sing Happy Birthday. So
for me, it's whenever I get free time, I'll be rhyming, or I don't really freestyle all that good, but that's not my forte. That's not what I enjoy to do. I much prefer writing. I like making songs. That's what I like doing.
Lyricism.
Yeah. So, but one of the ways I practice is like I'll just randomly during the day see a word, like Pomcast, last. Like it's just like you look at stuff like that and you try to break up words and find little words to rhyme throughout the day. And it's just on top of practicing, it's also fun for me, and it's just a little way of getting through the day.
Right. Yeah, it sounds to me that it's the sort of literature side almost that and the English side that really appeals to you.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So I know we've talked a lot about the practice you have to do and the sort of realities of having to work to pay the bills and everything.
Yeah.
So what about equipment and stuff like that? What do you guys have now, or do you just go to a studio or?
Well, I have like a little home studio set up in my house. It's I have a Mac, I have an amp, a preamp, audio interface, speakers, and stuff. And if you don't know what that means, just a bunch of recording equipment. And he actually lent me his quality mic. It's AT2020. It's a pretty decent mic, so we use that to record and have like a whole bunch of soundproofing and lights all over and try to make it look cool.
Guys at the mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm always in there cooking up beats, doing whatever.
All right. So do both you write songs? I know you're a songwriter. Do you write too, Rob? Or?
Well, yeah. For my own verses, I usually write my own stuff. Cause
Yeah, call Ken.
That's fine.
yeah.
So when you talk about writing your own verses, is that you know what you're gonna sing and you write your own stuff, and then you write your own stuff and you put it together, or?
Sometimes it just works weird. It's always
we have a
different.
good chemistry.
Yeah.
It is weird. It just always works out somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like half the time I'll just make a beat, and a lot of times I'll just freestyle like a melody, just like humming on it, and I'll sit there. And he told me this: you gotta sit there, you have a melody in your head, and you gotta let out the flow that you want, so you get the cadence, you get the rhyming, and he's taught me a lot with that, because he's a lyricist. So I try to focus on the beats, make it sound good. I'll throw a little melody of my own in, and he'll come in with the lyrics, make it a good song.
So there's a lot of science behind this,
Yeah.
I appreciate that you both kind of see you're coming from that side of it. I know Rob, you do pretty well in school, I think. So, so it's interesting for me to see. And I can see that it's kind of a family trait. I'm not a musician, so it's interesting for me to see someone with
use their intelligence and kind of put that into the musical side of it. It's impressive to me. You wouldn't necessarily put that and Naruto together, Shakespeare and Naruto. So maybe tell me the Naruto connection.
Well, I think
We had like a weird kind of vibe style.
Yeah.
It was very unique.
we love anime.
Yeah.
Like I just always grew up loving anime. Like I'm an artist, so like I used to draw like animes. And I almost said that word, but
Right.
I can't say that.
Big up, Lucas.
But I used to wake up real early and like watch Inuyasha and Adult Swim. That's what I always loved. It's just like watching that. And I was never a really good student. I don't think I was ever like stupid. I think I just really didn't enjoy school. But
Well, I find that the artistic temperament is usually his head is in his art. Like he's thinking about pictures, or he's thinking about. No, it's true because So I know a lot of people that way, and it could seem like in school, maybe that's not their prime priority, or they're not paying attention, but they're paying attention to something else.
yeah, it took me to grow in age to be able to appreciate the education that was given to me for free.
Right.
I went to public school, so free education is a blessing.
Right.
And it took me to grow up to really be able to appreciate that. And even though I didn't really enjoy school, I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it a lot.
And now we talk about here at the school, I don't know if you're familiar with our motto, it's Vir Fidelis, it means the faithful man. So it means being faithful to God, it means being faithful to your family, to your country, faithful to your work, to everything, And so I think, Rob, we were talking about with Ross, I'm sure for you too, does that kind of play into your music, and do you feel like you're maybe doing this for others too, like this is something you can give back maybe?
I know a lot of the time when I'm writing, it's either something that I'm feeling or something that I feel like I have to say. Just for me, because the people that inspired me to make music, they always were talking about what they were feeling inside, and it was their format to be able to speak about what they're feeling inside, like almost like a therapeutic kind of a thing, or they had something to say, whether it was political or for whatever. If they had something to say, that was their format of saying it.
It was their form of expression.
Yeah. So that's why I do.
Because everything we make is faithful to our characters.
I think so too. Yeah.
In that sense, so we don't put on a persona where we're like, oh, we're rappers, gang this, gang that. We don't do any of that because we want to be true to ourselves. And like, honestly, we have a very happy vibe in the sense. Like a lot of our songs are very like islandy, relaxing. Some of them can be a little more aggressive, but it's just the art. So always got to portray how you feel inside and keep it true.
So you feel like you can pursue your art and still be true to your character, not give up values and morals and things like that?
Yeah.
I think if I can, it would be beautiful, and I'm not willing to sacrifice it. I think a lot of people do. A lot of people do in the field, but I'm not willing to. I'm not willing to sacrifice my relationships with my family and my core values.
Yeah, integrity.
Yeah. It's, my godfather told me when I was young that there's two different things. There's integrity and character. Integrity is who you are on the inside and what you would do in a certain situation, and character is how other people view you. So you can't really control character all the time, but you control integrity at all times, because that's you.
Yeah, when nobody's looking, what you do, this is just who I am, and you want to stay true to that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's what we try to teach the students here as well. Really that's, I appreciate you guys' work, I'm impressed by it. I'm interested to see where it ends up, whether it takes you from Staten Island to LA or back to where, any other city, perhaps Philadelphia.
Always New York.
Oh, you want to say New York?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is the center of the world, there's no question about that.
Philly's cool too.
Yeah, Philly's cool too.
I love for Philly. I got love for Philly.
I love New York first, but sports teams, I'm a big Eagles fan, I'm big everything Philly sports teams, but I'm born and raised in New York State. New York City is definitely the center for me too, so, and I think the music scene in New York is there's a lot of opportunities here too, so. I remember my buddy was playing in South Manhattan. I forget which bar or whatever, but I was dressed like this as like a priest. So I'm walking into this kind of like dive bar, and he's like, you know, playing the show. People are like, "Are you really a priest? Like, are you for real?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really a priest." But with that said, maybe is there some advice that you might have for someone else who's thinking about a music career? You're still in school, so you have a perspective. You're out of school, so maybe each of you could come up with maybe just a last word for musicians.
I think I tell him this all the time, because you don't know where life's gonna take you, and 5 years from now we could not be making music anymore. But I always tell him, even if it's not what you're doing full time, always do what you love, because you're not gonna be yourself if you're not doing what you love, at least a little bit, you know.
Right.
So always do what you love, and even if you're scared, just do it. There's no reason not to. Yeah.
I always tell the kids that never avoid something if the only reason is because you're afraid.
Yeah.
Never let fear dictate what you're gonna do or not do.
Exactly.
I know from my perspective, being a student gets hard to like balance everything every now and then. But like I enjoy making beats and music and all that. So like it's kind of like relaxing for me. So I would say if you find genuine joy in doing something, just go for it. Like find time for it. It should be relaxing to you. Like you don't feel like you're doing work. So you gotta find a balance though. Like school's important. Make sure you put that first. My dad always tells me like if your grades drop, all this has gotta go. So I gotta stay on top of it. So
I'll make sure he keeps his grade up too.
Right. I appreciate that. Well, you're doing a good job then. So guys, thank you. That's everything we have. So everybody at Monsignor Farrell, thank you. This was kind of our music episode. We had some of our own artists. We talked about the other forms of music we have here at Farrell. We're very thankful to our guest, Lil Ross, Squad 7. We wish you guys all the luck and all the blessings, all right? So thank you for coming.
Thank
you for being a part of our show. And we still don't have a sign off. We still don't have like a famous saying. So
Cue the outro.
cue the outro.
shout out Senor G.
Great, thanks guys.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
She sip Bacardi, and she be vibing, that's and move her body. In the twilight, she shining, that's your hottie. In the twilight, that she wanna party. She rollin'.